Hello everyone and welcome to VJ's English Club. Today we're going to do something really cool. We are going to learn how to tell stories in English, how to share all your amazing memories about everything that happened before now.
So, let's start with a little question. I want you to think for a second. What did you do yesterday? Maybe you played a game, you studied, you watched a movie. How do you actually talk about all that stuff in English? Well, the secret is the simple past tense. You know, I like to think of it as the time machine of English grammar. It literally lets us travel back in time to tell stories about things that have already finished. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's jump in. Nah, rahasianya adalah simple past tense. Tahu tidak, saya suka menganggapnya sebagai mesin waktu dalam tata bahasa Inggris. Ini benar-benar membuat kita bisa kembali ke masa lalu untuk menceritakan kisah tentang hal-hal yang sudah selesai. Keren kan? Oke, ayo kita mulai.
Okay, first things first. Before we start our journey with the time machine, we need to know a few important words. These words are going to help us understand everything. All right, here are the words that are going to be our best friends for this topic. We have past, which of course means masa lalu. We have action, which means aksi. But pay close attention to these two. Regular verb, that's kata kerja beraturan, and irregular verb, that's kata kerja tidak beraturan. These two are super important, so let's keep them in mind.
So, are you ready for the fun part? Let's start building our first sentence about the past. We're going to learn the basic formula to tell a positive story about something you did.
And here it is. It's so simple. All you need is a subject plus something called verb to. That's it. In our example here, she is the subject and walked is the verb to. It's the past version of the verb walk. Easy. Dan ini dia. Sederhana sekali. Yang kamu butuhkan hanyalah subjek ditambah sesuatu yang disebut verb 2. Selesai. Dalam contoh kita di sini, she adalah subjeknya dan walked adalah verb 2. Itu adalah bentuk lampau dari kata kerja walk. Mudah.
But I can hear you asking, wait a minute, what is verb to? That is a fantastic question. Verb to is just the past tense form of a verb. And it actually comes in two different types. Let's check them out right now.
Okay, on one side we have regular verbs. These are awesome because they follow a simple rule. You just add ed to the end. So play becomes played. Simple, right? But on the other side, we have the irregular verbs. These are the special ones. They don't follow the rules and they change completely. For example, go becomes went. Totally different. Let's look a little closer at those regular verbs. For most of them, you just add ed. Walk becomes walked. Now, if a verb already ends with an e, like, you only add a d. If it ends with a consonant and a y, like study, you change the y to ied. And for short verbs like stop, you have to double the last letter before adding ed. You'll get used to it fast.
And now for the irregular verbs. Here's the deal. There is only one rule. You must memorize them. But don't worry, just think of them as special power-up words for your stories. Let's look at some important ones. Go becomes went. Eat becomes ate. See becomes saw. And write becomes wrote. These will make your stories sound amazing.
Okay, so you know how to make positive sentences now. You're doing great. But what if you want to say something didn't happen? Or you want to ask a question? For that, we need to meet our special helper, the word did. To make a sentence negative, to say no in the past, we use did not, or even better, didn't. But listen up, this is super important. When we use didn't, the main verb goes back to its original form, verb 1. So we say, she didn't go, not she didn't went. That's the key rule. And guess what? It's the exact same idea for questions. We start the question with did, and once again, the main verb just relaxes and stays in its base form, verb 1. So you ask, did she go? Not did she went. The word did does all the hard work for us.
Here's a really great way to remember this. Just think of the word did as the time traveler. It does all the work of going into the past, so the main verb doesn't have to change. It can just stay relaxed in verb 1.
Okay, I want to show you this because this is the #1 most common mistake people say she didn't went. But now you know that's wrong, right? The right way is she didn't go. Same for questions. Not did you ate, but did you eat? Always remember, after didn't or in a did question, you have to use verb 1.
So why are we learning all of this grammar? What's the point? Well, the point is awesome. Now you have the power to tell stories in English. Let's talk about when you get to use this power.
Jadi kenapa kita belajar semua tata bahasa ini? Apa gunanya? Nah, gunanya sangat keren. Sekarang kamu punya kekuatan untuk bercerita dalam bahasa Inggris. Mari kita bahas kapan kamu bisa menggunakan kekuatan ini.
We use the simple past for a few key reasons. First, for actions that are completely finished. They are over. For example, I visited Bali in 2023. Done. Second, for habits that you had in the past, like he played outside every day. And third, and maybe the most important, for telling a story step by step.
Kita menggunakan simple past untuk beberapa alasan utama. Pertama, untuk aksi yang sudah benar-benar selesai, sudah berakhir. Contohnya, saya mengunjungi Bali pada 2023, selesai. Kedua, untuk kebiasaan di masa lalu, seperti dia bermain di luar setiap hari. Dan ketiga, dan mungkin yang paling penting, untuk menceritakan sebuah kisah tahap demi tahap.
For example, you can tell a great little story just like this one. Look at the pictures. Step 1, I woke up late. Oh no. Step 2, I ran to the bus stop. And finally, step 3, I missed the bus. You see? Woke, ran, missed. They are all verb 2. It's a perfect complete story.
So, how do you know for sure when you should use the simple past? It's easy. You just have to be a detective and look for the time clues. We call them signal words.
And here they are. Words like yesterday, last week, last year, or anything with ago. When you see these words, it's like a big flashing sign that tells you, hey, use the simple past tense here. They are your friends because they point to a finished time in the past. Dan ini dia, kata-kata seperti yesterday, last week, last year, atau apapun dengan ago. Ketika kamu melihat kata-kata ini seperti tanda berkedip besar yang memberitahumu, hey, gunakan simple past tense di sini. Mereka adalah temanmu karena mereka menunjuk ke waktu yang telah selesai di masa lalu.
This timeline makes it super clear, doesn't it? Look, we have today right here. Last week and yesterday are behind it. They are in the past. They are finished. The story is over. That's what the simple past is all about.
All right, you've learned the rules, you've seen the examples, you are basically a time-traveling storyteller now. Let's do a super quick review to lock all this information in, and then you'll be ready to tell your own amazing stories.
Okay, let's boil it all down to the main secret. The positive sentences, you use subject plus verb 2. For negative sentences and for questions, you call in your special helper, did or didn't, and then the main verb goes back to verb 1. That's it. If you can remember that, you've mastered the simple past.
And now it's your turn. The time machine is all yours. So I want you to think, what is a story you can tell about your past? Something that happened yesterday or last week? You have the power now. So what story will you tell? You all did an absolutely amazing job today. Seriously, you learned so much. Just remember, the real key is to practice. Keep telling stories. Keep using your English every single day. Thank you so much for learning with VJ's English Club, and I can't wait to see you in the next explainer. You guys are awesome.